Welcome to the Bloomingdale Public Library's program on printing mailing labels. In this program, we will use two Microsoft Office programs in Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel to automate a few repetitive tasks. We will utilize the Office tools of Mail Merge and Macros, which will help us cut down on time and typing. The first thing we'll go over is Mail Merge. So let's go ahead and open up a document here. And so we already have the document open. I have it called letter document, and really it's just a letter, very generic, that I'd like to send out to multiple people, but I'd like to keep most of the contents the same. So essentially what Mail Merge is going to do for us here is it's going to be a useful tool in allowing us to produce the multiple letters while using information stored from a list. In this case, that list will be from a spreadsheet, which I've also pre-made here with these cells populated with this information. We have the title of Ms., Mr., Mrs., and so forth. We have the last name and first name of the recipients of that letter that I'm going to send out. We have the address and city and all of this. And I'm just going to delete this last field. And we have it saved as Mail Merge Practice. And I didn't do anything special. We just populated these fields, and we'll use this shortly. So, of course, you can always start from scratch, but since I already have this letter here, we can just stick with this one. And what we'll do is look for the Mail Merge button. And you can see there are many tabs here at the top. And just between references and review is mailings. And from there, we have Start Mail Merge. And that's the button I need you to press, because this will allow us to go ahead and create the connected list that we have from the Excel sheet and make it available to this document. So select that, and it gives you a few different options. If you're starting from scratch, you can go ahead and select any of these: letters, email messages, envelopes, labels, or directory. But because I already have a plan in mind, we'll just go ahead and try this out, because the step-by-step Mail Merge Wizard is a tool that you can use if you're just starting from scratch, or if you just want some step-by-step process that'll help you get through it. But there are multiple ways of doing this same task. Select step-by-step Mail Merge Wizard, and to the right here we have some information. Mail Merge, write your letter. So what we'll do is actually go back to the first step, because for some reason it's at step 4-6. So I'm going to go back to the very first step, and it's saying to select the document type. What type of document are you working on? And in this case, we're using letters. So select Next, Starting Document. Here we have Select Starting Document. How do you want to set up your letters? You can use the current document, which I intend to do. Or you can start from a template, which is also available, or you can start from an existing document. So everything there is fine. We'll just move on to the step 3 by clicking Next, select Recipients. And then here is where we will make some adjustments. Use an existing list or type a new list. So let's go over type a new list first before we go to the existing list that we already have, just so you know how it works if you don't already have a list. So when you select type a new list, an option to create a new list will appear here in the center. And when you select it, this pop-up window will appear, and this is where you can create the list. So if you don't already have one made, you can utilize this and just type in the information manually. So I'm going to do that now. Add the first and last name, the title, the company, and so on. Just for practice, that's a fake city and all that, a fake name and everything. But then go ahead and select new entry if you have multiple names on this list, which is easy to do by selecting the new entry button, or delete entry if you only want to have that one, or if for whatever reason you need to delete entry. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and press the cancel button because we're not going to take this method, but that is available and useful if you need it. We're going to use an existing list. And by the way, you can also use Outlook contacts as well, but we're just going to use the existing list that we have already created, and select a different list is the button I just pressed. And you just have to go ahead and find the spreadsheet, and I have it located on the desktop as Mail Merge Practice. And I'll just refresh our memories. This is what it looks like. We have the first, last name, address, and titles here. So when we selected that list, it shows that we have a sheet here, and it's a table, so I'll go ahead and select it. And this pops up showing all the recipient names here that were on the original spreadsheet, including the address, the titles, the city, the state, and so forth. And I'll just press OK. And so now we have a link to the spreadsheet or the recipient list. So now we're ready to write the letter. Remember, when it's printed, each copy of this letter will basically be the same. Only the recipient data, which is the name, the address, the title, will be different. And so we have to add placeholders for the recipient data so that Mail Merge knows exactly where to add the data. And so that's what we'll do now. At the very top, I'd like to add an address block, and you see that we have that here on the side. And when we select it, it gives us a few options to display and change the format. I believe that the one that was already selected was fine, so I'll stick with that one. But you can always make some adjustments if you want to do so. And the next one is a greeting line. And actually, I have Dear set here, but we can delete that because it will show up in our greeting line when I select it. And there it is. And of course, you have options as well. And I'll just select this one because it looks fine to me. And this is how it will look. And then so you have address block, we have the greeting line, and that's really what we need for the time being. So the next thing is to preview what it will look like. So I select preview down there at the bottom right, and so this is the first preview. It looks good. We can actually click the forward arrow to look at the different names and how it would look, how it would be formatted. And it looks fine. So after previewing the letters, and just to make sure that the formatting is fine, and we've made the customizations that we wanted to make, we can move forward. But keep in mind, for some letters, you only need to add an address block and a greeting line. But if you'd like to add more placeholders within the body, you can do so as well. So yeah, after previewing, we can go ahead and move to the forward, we can move forward to the next step. And the next step is basically completing the merge. Here it says Mail Merge is ready to produce your letters. And to personalize your letters, you can click Edit Individual Letters. If you'd like to do so, you can do that here. But I'm fine with the way it is. I just go ahead and select Print here. And it gives you an option to print all records, just the current record, which is the one we're looking at now, or from certain pages. But I'll just select all for now, and then you'll get a pop-up here to print these pages, and you can select OK. In this case, I'm just going to Microsoft Print to PDF. That'll be my choice because I don't have a printer available to me at the moment. And I'll select PDF just so I can get an idea of what this will look like. And I'll save it as letter mail merge. And we can take a look at it right now. This is the file. Now open it with Adobe Acrobat because it's set up as a PDF, just to make sure that it looks fine. And the first one, the first letter looks good. Second letter also looks good. No problem there. And there you have it. That is our successful mail merge. So now that we have completed the mail merge task 1, we can actually go forward and make envelopes as well for the same spreadsheet. So I'll just go ahead and create a new blank document and go back to mailings and then select Start Mail Merge and select Envelopes. And they give you a few envelope options here to change the font of the delivery address and the return address, and then it gives you a preview of what it would look like. Gives you some printing options, but for now we'll just go ahead and stick with the default options here. And as you can see, this is what it will look like. And I already pre-filled the return address here. But I'm going to go to Home, the Home tab here, and select this paragraph button here. So you can see that we have, of course, this is where the return address here is, and a space here for the delivery address. And we'll go back to mailings. Now these aren't going to show up, by the way, when you print. It's just showing you where you can actually select and add text. Because this is an envelope, this is where you would normally put that stuff. And I'm just going to go to Start Mail Merge, go to the step-by-step Mail Merge wizard again, so we can go through the step-by-step process. So we've already created the type of document that we need, so we can go ahead and go forward to starting document. We're using the current document. This is the one that we are going to use, so we can still stay with that. We'll go on to step 3. And we can use an existing list, which we have. And I'm going to select the Browse button. And from there, we have the Mail Merge Practice spreadsheet here, where we can import that list that we used earlier. And we can press OK here as well. And keep all of the names that we had on that list. No problem there. Press OK. And then the next step, arrange your envelope. So now that we're here at this option, I'm going to select Address Block. And then when we do that, it gives us a few different options on how to display and customize that address block. And I like having that there, the title. So I'll go ahead and press OK, and that's fine with me. There you have address block. And the envelope should be ready to go. You can go ahead and select the next step, which is preview your envelopes. And you have the ability to preview each envelope by selecting the forward option here. And it looks to be fine. Now, if you don't want to see those paragraph buttons anymore, we can go back to the Home tab and deselect it. And then we can still continue to preview the different recipient names to see how everything looks, and look, everything looks fine. Of course, you can also make some changes. You can exclude certain recipients, but I think we're fine for now. And then the next step is to complete the merge. And it says here the mail merge is ready to produce your envelopes. To personalize your envelopes, click Edit Individual Envelopes, but just going to leave it as it is already, and print. And once again, it says merge to printer. You can select certain envelopes. You can select the one that you see right now currently, or you can just select them all. And you press OK, and the same thing. In this case, since I don't have a printer connected to this computer, I will select Microsoft Print to PDF, but you do have the option to make some adjustments. The next Microsoft Office tool we'll talk about briefly now is a macro. A macro is a series of instructions or a series of steps that you want Word to automate. So basically making tasks that you do over and over again easy for you to do, either through a hotkey or through a special button that we create by making macros. So the first thing we need to do is go to the View tab, which is at the very end, and then we have to go to the macros button here and select the arrow down. And you can view the macros that we have actually, but we don't have any yet. We can record one. That's what we're going to do. So select Record Macro. And in this case, we're going to make a table that, let's say we do a lot, but this macro will automatically do it for us every time we select it. So in this case, I'm going to make it a button. And when this pops up, all we need to do is select the normal new macros create table option here at the left, and then select add, and it goes over to the right. And from there, we go down to modify, so we can give it an icon. So let's say I like this cloud at the very bottom, so I'll select that as the icon to represent this new macro that we're creating. And then press OK. And if you select the macro, you can see that it is recording right now. We can pause it and we can stop it. And we want to make sure that we do it the way that we intend to do it from our initial actions, so that we don't have a problem with the macro that we create. Otherwise, we just have to do it over again. So I'm going to select table, and I'm going to insert a table that's 4 by 4. And I will just name a few of these fields. And when I'm ready to stop recording, I go back to View, the View tab here, and select Stop Recording. And so if I select macros, you'll see that now we do have a macro. It's called Create Table, and it's available. So if I return right there, if I press return a few times, I have a little space there. If I select this cloud up here at the top of the quick toolbar here, we will have it automatically available to us. And I have it set so that whenever it's basically available to us, if we need it, even if it's a blank document and we're moving on. I mean, you can change the settings where it's a global macro where everybody can get access to it, or if it's just for you. As you can see, it is available, and there it is. Another way to create the macro is to go back to macros here, and you can actually edit this so that it's not, well, actually, let's not do that. That's a bit complicated, but what we can do is delete it. Let's go ahead and delete it. Do you want to delete macro create table? Yes. And we can start over, and we can actually get rid of this as well. We can remove it from the quick access toolbar, and we can make a new macro. And let's say it's create table once again, but this time we'll make it with the keyboard. And from here, you can actually make a shortcut through your keys. So let's say Ctrl Alt Y. If that's okay, Control Alt, I don't know why I said Central, but Control Alt Y or Alt Control Y. That's no problem. We can assign it and close it. And right now we are recording once again. So we'll insert the table once more. This time I'll make it 3 by 3. And keep in mind that the macro is recording right now. So try not to make any mistakes. And stop. So now we've created a new table macro. And we don't have an icon for this one because we made it a hotkey. I'm going to create a new document, Control, Alt, and Y. And there it is. In a new document, you can see that it is working properly. Control, Alt, Y once again. And there it is. And of course, you can go back to macros. And if you decide that you don't need it anymore, you can delete it. And there you are. Now I just want to show you one more example. I'll just go ahead and get rid of that. And then get rid of this as well. I have a document here. And I'd like to, by default, change the font size and the font and the color. And let's say I do that a lot to a certain type of font, certain type of color and all that. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and create the macro once again. And let's just say it's going to be a button. And remember, it does ask you to add that to this side of this column. And we'll just go ahead and add the cloud one more time. Actually, I like the happy face, so I'll select the happy face. Then I'll press OK. And then now we're going to start recording. And remember that it's recording everything that you do, so make sure you do it the way you like it to be done. So I'm just going to select this this amount of information. Or you know what, I'll just Control All and select all the text. And then I'm going to go to Home and change the font to Arial. Change the size to 12. And also change the color to red. And I'm going to make everything bold or unbold. So now everything looks like this. And I'll stop the macro now, stop recording. And if I were to open the blank document, and actually let's just go back. We'll just go back to the original document and then we'll select the macro. And it automatically turns it to red. It turns the font to Arial and changes the font size to 12. So this is another tool that could be used to help you automate certain tasks that you do over and over. And with that, that concludes this program. Thank you very much for watching and take care.